Welcome back, everybody. Ecom Dispensary, Knowledge Up number 40, episode number 162. In this one, we're taking a bit of a subscriber request. Someone requested that we talk about how to scale up effectively this Q4. So here we are. That is the topic of this episode. I want to talk to you guys a little bit about just like we made an episode about Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and just like kind of the whole preparation behind that. It was honestly a monster episode. If you haven't gotten that one or you haven't listened to that one, you missed it. I would highly recommend going back and listening to that one. Um, but I think in this one, we kind of want to talk more specifically about the Facebook ads scaling side of things, because in that episode, we talked about scaling a little bit, but we also talked about a lot of the other kind of back end things that go along with that. So in this one, we're going to talk more specifically about scaling and kind of specifically tactically how we go about that, our plan for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and Q4 in terms of, scaling our Facebook ad spend and everything like that. So let's get into it. So I'm just going to run through like kind of the basics. I think some of you guys will probably already understand this stuff, but for those of you who don't, I want to give a little overview. Scaling up. What is scaling up? Scaling up is basically just increasing the total amount that you're spending on ads. For us, that is going to be mainly Facebook ads. That's kind of our methodology. That's kind of how we do things. So scaling up is basically just spending more on Facebook ads. It's very, very simple at the root of it. When it comes down to it, what that really equates to is just running more ad sets with bigger budgets. That said, the whole process of scaling is a lot easier said than done. I learned this the hard way. When I had my first successful store, I was spending like $10 a day, and I was getting like 1 or 2 sales every day, and it was profitable, it was consistent. And I was like, dude, I'm going to make so much money. So I upped my budgets from like $10 a day to like $100 a day, expecting to make 10 times more money. And that is not how that worked. That is not how that worked. I actually ended up losing money for a few days doing that. And I had to learn how to scale the right way. So the mistake that I made there was I just scaled too fast. For whatever reason, it's kind of annoying that this is how this works, but you can't just scale your ad spend 10x overnight and expect results to hold at the levels that they were before. Generally speaking, the more that you scale, the higher that you scale, the more that you spend on ads, the overall less effective your ads tend to be, the lower your profitability tends to be on your advertising. And that's just like par for the course. That's kind of how it always goes. If you're spending $100 a day, you're going to have a higher ROAS than if you're spending $1,000 or $10,000 a day. So back to what I was saying is you can't scale up too fast. General rule that we kind of follow is you don't want to scale spend by more than 20% at one time. So if right now you're spending $500 a day, you don't want to scale to more than $600 a day at one time. You might scale from 500 to 600 and then keep it at 600 for a while. And then the next time you scale, maybe you scale it to 700, a week later, or 720, I guess technically would be the 20% rule. You just don't want to really go over that 20% at a time. Now, that said, there are some exceptions for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and the upcoming kind of craziness of Q4. Oftentimes, you can get away with scaling a bit more aggressively. And I think we're going to talk a little bit more about that later on in the episode. When it comes to scaling, there's kind of 2 types of scaling. You have horizontal and vertical. Vertical is essentially like, if you kind of imagine it, like what that looks like, vertical is just increasing the budgets of existing campaigns and ad sets. So if you're spending $20 a day on an ad set, you up it to $40 a day. Well, that would be too much because that would break the 20% rule, but that would be vertical scaling, just increasing the budgets. Very, very simple. You're just increasing the budgets. The number is going up vertically. Horizontal, on the other hand, is not increasing the budgets of existing campaigns and ad sets. Instead, it's increasing the overall number of campaigns and ad sets that you're running. So if you got 2 campaigns, if you make a new campaign and you put some ad sets in there, and you go from having, say, 6 total ad sets to having 9 total ad sets, that would be scaling horizontally. I don't know. What would you say, Scotty? I have 80+% here. Would you say the number is higher than that?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably like 99%.
Yeah. The overall majority of the scaling that we do is horizontal. It's not so much increasing budgets of existing campaigns or ad sets. Mostly it's adding new ad sets, adding new campaigns, and kind of increasing the total spend that way by horizontally scaling out and increasing the number of ad sets. All right, so that's been a mouthful. Take a second there, let you digest that. There's a few different ways that you can kind of go about scaling and scaling horizontally. It's honestly very simple. One way is just by duplicating an ad set, and then you take that ad set, and instead of change, like one thing you can do is just change who you're targeting. You could keep the ad the exact same. You say you have an ad set that's working very well. If you want to scale horizontally, duplicate that ad set and target new audiences. Target a different lookalike, target a different interest, keep the same ads in there. And that is one way to do it. Alternatively, you can also duplicate an ad set that's doing well, keep the same kind of targeting, the same audience, the same lookalike, whatever it is that you're targeting, keep that, but then run different ads, test new ads with audiences that have been proven to work. I'd say those are kind of the two main ways. Scotty, can you think of any other kind of ways that we scale horizontally?
I mean, it's not really a different way, but it's just like more testing. So just test more. So take your testing budget from $100 a day to $150 a day, $200 a day, whatever. Mm-hmm. Test more ads.
Not necessarily duplicating existing ad sets, but just creating new ad sets.
Correct, yeah. Because ultimately, what's going to have the biggest effect on results is having new and better ads. So the more you test, not only are you increasing spend in those testing ad sets, but you're also increasing your chances of finding new great ads, which are going to boost overall results. Because I mean, you can actually scale without increasing the ad spend just by increasing your ROAS. Of course, that's it's sort of outside your direct control. But if you can make new and better ads, that might increase your total revenue without increasing your total spend.
That is definitely the most ideal way to scale, the most profitable way to scale. So as Scotty was just saying, the more that you spend on ads, and I mentioned this earlier as well, the more that you spend on ads overall, the less kind of effective as a percentage your ads tend to be, which means that scaling isn't just about scaling, because if you scale your ad spend a lot, your results are going to dip, and you might be operating at a higher level of scale, but it very well could just cancel out because your profitability is just not there. So the process of scaling, it's about increasing your overall ad spend, but it's also about improving, basically everything you're doing, your ads, your overall marketing, everything that you're doing with your business overall, your margins, your product, literally everything. It's about over time, just constantly working to improve everything that you're doing.
So, a large part of that is the new ads. I think you want to focus a lot more on creative testing rather than fucking around with audiences, lookalikes. Yes, test those, they can be impactful, but I think a lot of times people test a lot of audiences kind of as a cop-out because it doesn't require any actual work. You're just clicking buttons in Ads Manager, you're just throwing in a new lookalike, just throwing in a new interest. You're not doing any actual work. And a lot of people do a lot of audience testing sort of as a cop-out for making new ads and doing actual work. And it works in the short term, does not work in the long term. In the long term, your success is going to be determined by coming up with great advertising, doing the actual work to make good ads. And if you don't do that, you're not going to be able to scale, and you're not going to be able to maintain profitability as you scale.
Yep, absolutely. And this is why scaling is often a slow process. It's not, you see people that scale super, super fast. And sometimes that can work. I'm very skeptical whenever I see that, whenever I see someone scaling like incredibly, incredibly fast. Because for the most part, it's a slow process. It's a process of you scaling a little bit, and then your ad results dip a little bit. You got to improve the business to get the profitability back to where it was. You do that, you scale again, and it's just like this ever repeating process of slowly scaling and slowly improving the business.
Yep, it's kind of like an up and down. As long as you're increasing year over year, people aren't really thinking in year over year terms with dropshipping. They're thinking like, how much money can I make tomorrow? But if you think about just increasing the revenue and the profitability of the business year over year, you can go really fucking far, even with scaling seemingly slow. It's like we scale slow, quote unquote, for dropshipping, but that's still like a 300, 400% growth year over year. which is absolutely insane in the regular world. But somehow dropshipping circles, because they're all fucking 17 and addicted to fast dopamine. They anything that isn't fast money doesn't interest them.
I do be like that sometime. It do be like that. All right, so those are kind of the basics of scaling with Facebook ads. Now, Scotty, can you walk us through what our kind of rough plan, our rough outlook is for scaling this Black Friday, Cyber Monday, this Q4? We're pretty close. You know, it's what? Let's check the calendar here. It's about 1, 2, 3 weeks away. Yeah, about 3 weeks from the time this episode's coming out. So what's the rundown?
She comes around quick, huh? So first of all, as we're going through November, we're just trying to maintain profitability and scale, because ad costs generally start increasing pretty dramatically from here on out. And we just want to maintain our ROAS, maintain our scale going into Black Friday, Cyber Monday. We don't want to be crushing through our inventory or burning through our inventory at low margins. Just not worth it. We will scale up for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, but again, ideally never drop below sort of like 10% net margins. It's just not worth the headache. We're gonna have refunds, returns, exchanges. We just don't want to drop below that margin, because we know, or we greatly hope that, as has been the case in the past, sort of end of December, January, February are generally our best months, not November, December. So we need to have high scale without destroying our margins, and we need to make use of Black Friday, Cyber Monday to scale up, generate a bunch of momentum that hopefully carries us into a really strong end of December, January, February, and into the new year, where we profit at high revenue, but also high margins. Like, I want to say our margins were about double or triple in January last year what they were in November, December, and at higher scale as well. So for us, it's more so about generating momentum and just ending the year off strong so that we can hit the ground running in 2022. It's not about having the highest fucking BFCM weekend of all time. It's not about crazy new screenshots. I guess we're barely fucking active on social media now, so we no longer concern ourselves with who has the biggest fucking Cyber Monday dick with biggest screenshot. No more dick measuring contests on Twitter. Just run our business and hopefully have a really profitable Q1 next year. That's kind of the big picture plan. Yep. Specifically for sort of ads, what we're doing Black Friday, Cyber Monday weekend. I think we talked about this a week or two ago. I believe we spent a bit too much in the days leading up to Black Friday. So a bit too much on the Wednesday and Thanksgiving. This year, we're going to keep that more minimal, I think. Just keep a slight increase from normal maybe, and then really spend aggressively on Black Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and really aggressively on Cyber Monday again, and then try and maintain as much of that increase as we can. It's like this weekend, the whole 20% total ad spend increase goes out the window. We're going to double, maybe triple our ad spend from one day to the next. And kind of the way we manage ads is different this weekend too, compared to the rest of the year. We actually micromanage stuff. We go in, we turn off ads that are underperforming inside each individual ad set. We will manipulate the budget on ad sets or campaigns. Like, we'll decrease the budget. Like, we'll do, mostly it's decreasing, not increasing. So it's kind of like, what would that be? It would be like vertical, like descaling. What's the opposite of scaling? Scaling down. Vertically scaling down ad sets if the ROAS on an ad set isn't what we want it to be. So generally it's I believe easier to schedule more spend and then scale down where needed, rather than trying to scale up because you're like, fuck, I could have scaled up way more. My margins are still great. So generally we're going to shoot high, and then as the day goes on, as results start coming in, we'll scale down a little bit where it's needed.
Yes, sir.
Well, actually, we sort of split it up. This year it's going to be a little different because we're all more or less in the same time zone. Last year, I remember I was doing the morning ad management because of time zones. I got up when our ad guy goes to sleep essentially, and we'd always have someone kind of looking at it every couple of hours, tracking ROAS almost hourly. We used to go into like the breakdowns by hour, compare it to revenue and Shopify. Obviously, like this is the thing about Facebook ad tracking. A lot of it's going to be delayed. You're not going to be able to see the results in the ads manager necessarily. But if you can tell that this hour we spent $1,000 and we only made 1.2 grand back, this is a disaster. Very low ROAS. We need to do something. You can kind of tell by looking at the hourly spend versus hourly revenue on Shopify. And this is kind of where the rule of go outside and don't stare at the ads manager goes out the window. Like Black Friday, Cyber Monday, we definitely stare at the ads manager. It's just kind of the way things go. When you double or triple your ad spend overnight, you're going to be obsessing over it and declining quality of life for a few days, but it'll be worth it when January rolls around and you have huge months when you're not even looking at the ads.
Yep. So I might have missed this, but did you talk about how much we're kind of planning to increase our ad spend for Black Friday, Cyber Monday weekend?
Yeah. And we're going to double or triple depending where we're at going into it. And you also have to take inventory into consideration. You have to think, how much inventory do you actually have? We have a shit ton. Others might not be as fortunate, but yeah, double or triple for us.
Word.
And a lot of that isn't going to be on cold ads. A lot of that's going to be just blasting those, like I call them long-term retargeting audiences. It's like warm traffic, people who have seen your business before, like people who've visited your website in the past 180 days, people who've engaged with your ads in the past year. Just like huge buckets of people, if you've been running for a while, just retargeting them. And that traffic is often going to be pretty profitable. If you spend enough on them, the ROAS will dip. So you kind of have to, it's a balancing act, like depending on how big the audiences are, you can blast them with more spend or less spend. But we try to absolutely squeeze as much as possible out of those audiences over Black Friday, Cyber Monday.
Yep. Absolutely. And then
I guess the final part of it is that after Black Friday, Cyber Monday is over, we do not shut off BFCM ads. If an ad is performing, we let it run until it stops performing.
Yeah.
Again, one of those things that
yeah.
Well, one of those things that we can get away with where Nike or Coke probably can. Like their marketing director is going to say, are you fucking retarded? Like turn off these BFCM ads. BFCM ad is over. We care about results, not about necessarily how it looks. We're a direct response brand. It is what it is. So we're going to run ads that work, whether it's the ideal look for a business or not. And if those ads are bringing in ROAS, we will keep running those BFCM ads into December, into January, into fucking July if need be.
Yeah. Even if the copy says Black Friday sale, if it's still profitable in February, that's still running. It's still running. And, I'm not sure how that tends to still work, but I mean, we run Black Friday, Cyber Monday ads way, way, way after Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and it's still profitable.
Yeah. A lot of times it does dip. It's just one of those things. I can't tell you if your ads are going to be profitable after Black Friday, Cyber Monday. You just got to look at the results and go from there. It's a great thing about direct response, isn't it?
I suppose it is. All right, folks. Well, I think that has been the rundown on how to scale up effectively this Q4. We went over just kind of general scaling stuff, the general kind of way that things work. And then we also went through our specific kind of plan, our outline, our framework for what we're planning to do this year. Hopefully you guys take this and use this. A lot of this stuff, especially for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and Q4, has been hard fought things that we have learned, really just by spending a shit ton of money over Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and Q4, and just seeing what works and what doesn't. So hopefully you guys take that and use it. I think that'll be about it for this one. You got anything else you want to add here, Scott, man?
I do not, Schmitty. I do not.
Beautiful.
Gonna
Well,
be
that
a
has been
fun
episode
time,
number
though.
162. We'll talk to you guys in episode 163.